social media accounts and see what I could find. I find a music MySpace and a Reverb Nation page of some really terrible music he'd recorded and uploaded. One of the songs was called Victoria, which is her name. All the other songs had similar normal titles like Summer's Day, etc. I tell my mom this and she freaks out. I send her the link and it's hard to make out the lyrics because the quality is so bad. But he mentions her saddle shoes, her beauty, and her sweater. They literally hung him twice. They were years ago. And these were songs that had been recorded pretty recently. I dig a little deeper and find out that he's made a website dedicated to freeing the woman accused of murdering her roommate. This was super alarming at the time, but I've since not put too much weight on that since her innocence is actually very possible. But it's still very strange. My dad didn't seem fazed by any of this, but my mom was freaked out and wouldn't stay home alone since this man knows their address. She ends up telling all of this to a family friend who's a private investigator. He's doing some digging on this guy. First of all, he's changed his name. Secondly, he's moved to about 5 different states in the last 20 years under different aliases, working completely different jobs. There wasn't much that could be done since he never actually threatened my mom and he somehow didn't have a record. He still pops up every now and then with friend requests to my siblings and me, but other than that, no one knows what his deal is. The fact that he's moved around quite a lot and changed his name is definitely I personally
what was that?
Serial killer. But he's not. Then he's just a sad, lonely, mentally unstable man. And I hope he gets the help he needs. Props if you stuck through this whole thing. I know it's not as creepy as most of the other stories on this sub, but I'm lucky enough that this is the only one I've got. This is kind of long, so yeah. This happened around 3 years ago when I was away on a school trip. This trip was for younger students. A few people from my year in school had been asked to go help look after the younger children. To give perspective, I was 14 when this happened. I was about 5'2", female, and probably weighed less than 100 pounds. One particular day, the children were doing an orienteering activity in the woods, basically using the compass to follow a trail to find your way.
God, bro. I'm not gonna push this guy because I don't have...
Now, behavioral problems had taken a liking to me for whatever reason. Therefore,
Boy.
The activity for the first 10 minutes, a group of boys seemed to be doing what they were supposed to. I could see other groups from my school in front of and behind us, so I thought everything was going fine. The boys that were doing this activity were huge. I had no experience using a compass, and neither did the boys in the group. The boys I was looking after quickly became disinterested in the activity and started to run in random directions, climb the trees, etc. After about 40 minutes of chasing these boys in random directions through the woods that I'd never been in before, I realized we were completely lost and expected to be at the finish line soon. Because I was only 14 and had been put in charge of my children, therefore I knew I'd be held responsible for us getting lost. I ended up being able to see the boys moved focus and help me find a proper path, as by now we were walking through the path. This is where it gets creepy. After walking down this path for 10 minutes, I see a clearing with trees up ahead. I couldn't see what was in this clearing, so hoping it was an exit from the woods, I started jogging. As I turned the corner and got a better look at the clearing, I stopped dead in my tracks. It's hard to explain how I felt when I first saw this man. All I can say is, I've never felt so much danger in my life before this. My whole body was completely glued to the spot, and I could feel the color drain from my face. In the clearing, there was a man sat on a bench. He looked to be around his mid to late 40s, slightly overweight, and looked homeless. He was balding, however the hair he had looked damp, like it was that greasy. His eyes looked closed over his mouth. That's when I was a closer inspection. It's hard to see this man, but the vibe I got was Think about it. My fight or flight instincts kicked in. I spun completely blocked out. They all looked absolutely terrified as they stood behind me, looking at this man too. I shouted "run" to the boys and sprinted past them as fast as I could. I can honestly say I've never run so fast in my life. I could hear the boys running behind me and they were literally screaming blood and murder. I didn't even look back for a second, to be completely honest. I was only thinking about myself at that moment, and I was getting the fuck out of there, and fast. I knew the man was chasing behind us because the boys were screaming that he was coming, and he was behind us. I don't know how the boys were shouting so much. All I could think of was my imminent death. Fortunately, the creeper was overweight and couldn't keep up with 5 teenagers who just got the biggest. I'll never know.
This guy's a bot as well, he's not even good.
I can honestly say
He's on 1 HP. Anyway. I need to go and do something. I'm back. Yeet. God.
It's about half an hour after the incident. I managed to hitchhike a lift back to the camping grounds. Hey everyone. I was just lurking through Let's Not Meet and saw a story that reminded me of something that happened to me when I was about 12 or 13.
I need to like pickaxe somebody.
What the hell? I share.
I'm gonna start doing some of my challenges, you know.
My friends were getting into makeup and clothing, etc. And were constantly buying nice designer stuff. My family was broke at that time, so I was never able to afford to get any. This led me and my best friend Emily to go looking for ways to make money. Where I live, you can't get jobs at 12 or 13, so we were thinking of doing jobs for our neighbors like dog walking or car washing. Emily came up with the idea of doing make money. Emily came up with the idea of doing more photographs. She said you can put pictures of yourself online and photographers will get in touch with you and you potentially make money. So, being stupid, we went on loads of modeling websites, close to we weren't legit and started putting my picture everywhere. We also put my phone number on there so people could contact me. Anyway, nothing really came of this, but the next weekend I was back around Emily's house and my phone rang. It was an unknown number, and I answered. From what I could tell at the time, it was an older man. He started off by saying he'd seen my picture online, complimenting me, saying it was very pretty. He then went on to explain he had a potential job for me, so I asked him what I wanted to do. He said he would like me to come to an office in the city and read a script, but the script was quite mature, and he wasn't sure if I was old enough. I told him I was 13, and this is where it got weird. He started asking questions about my body, like if I had pubic hair, if my breasts...
Ah, yeah, we don't talk about, yeah.
He even asked me to shave my legs yet, or if I hadn't grown hairs yet. At the time, I was stupid and young and didn't realize these questions. also explained all about the script he wanted me to read. This was basically him describing people having an orgy, and I was supposed to read a script about the orgy. As we continued to speak, his breathing got louder, and he sounded as if he was doing something he shouldn't be. And then he asked if I was home. We were, but instead I said no, and that my friend's mom said. He replied by saying, well, why is her little purple car gone then? This freaked me out and I hung up. My friend's mom did have a small purple car at the time, and I have no idea how we would have known that. Maybe it was someone we knew. I'm not sure. But anyway, after that I went back online and took all the pictures down from the modeling sites.
Oh! Yeah.
As a disclaimer,
That didn't happen, brother. What are you talking about? Didn't nearly just die or anything, you know?
apologize for any transgressions against the English language. This is also a Fortnite account. Alright, so this occurred roughly around 2 years ago, August of 2014. My husband, who was nicknamed Skeeter, and I had just moved down to a small town in Nevada from the bustling city of Los Angeles, California. For safety and practicality purposes, I won't disclose the exact location of our residence, but I will say this area's population is definitely below 900 people. We'd moved just shortly after the birth of our son. The small town life was for us, as a young couple and young parents. Jobs are
I really hope I don't get snipped in the face.
expenses are reduced, and it will be the perfect place to raise
That
our
would
family.
suck. Huh.
Surprisingly, the only
Please.
concern I'd had about the place was the fact that everything was so spaced out, while the nearest house being like a mile away. In case of an emergency, my neighbors could be of little to no assistance. Skeeter, however, had no qualms about this, as he was a rather private person, and the idea of slight seclusion didn't particularly bother him. In we moved on a hot summer day. Now, in this incident, we had only been in town for maybe 2 weeks, and we were still settling in. It was a warm Friday night, somewhere around 11 o'clock p.m., and my husband was in town working security at the bank. Our son Julius was only 3 weeks old and very colicky, and this night he was just inconsolable. No matter what he did, he wailed his little lungs out. I was stumped for what to do, so I decided to go for a walk with him, as car rides always seemed to soothe him. I would have driven the baby around in the car, but Skeeter drove himself to work that night. I should mention we have 2 dogs, a 2-year-old German Shepherd named Titus, and I figured they would need a walk before I managed to calm Julius down, and we all turned in for the night. One thing about Dasha and Titus are that they're overprotective of me and the baby and will raise the alarm at the smallest of threats. It made me feel safe walking alone outside in the pitch dark with a newborn, miles away from any other human beings and the security of my husband. So, I threw on their leashes and strapped the ball-room Julius to my chest, heading out the back door and making sure my keys and phone were in my pocket. There's a winding, unpaved trail that starts a few feet to the left of the back porch.
We gotta start heading to zone, I think.
Down, but I wasn't afraid, due to the fact that
So many heals are in my inventory right now.
Going on camping trips in Big Bear as a child. The walking seemed to do the trick, as within a few minutes the baby quieted down and my dogs finally relaxed. They were always tense when Julius was fussing. I was just about to pass the wild shrubbery and tall bushes you see right before you get to the firs when I felt resistance on the other end of the weeds. I glanced back, and Titus were paused, looking off to the right of the path at full attention. As a mother,
Oh, hello.
Tasha stopped again, and I could see her fur standing on end. Titus was I'd rarely ever heard him growl. This time, I hissed my command, and they hesitantly moved forward. At this point, I was beyond petrified, as I had no idea what the hell was out there, and caused my dogs to go crazy. Even if I did, what could I do with a baby, 2 dogs, and no protection?
Hang on, I didn't even properly check what that guy did, what that person had. Did he have a better? No, he didn't even have a shotgun. Yeah. Hang on. I'm back. Yeet. Oh. Okay. Gotta stop pretending like I'm a bot. JK, I'm a bot. Feels bad, man. No! So far away.
To my surprise and happiness, the baby hadn't gotten scared, started crying from all the ruckus and was just cooing softly. Pigman finally seemed to notice the baby on my chest, and I guess it had some type of morals. It made a weird sort of wailing sound and darted back the way it had come, and I could hear it disturb the grass as it walked further into the wild greenery.
Hello.
I didn't wait to see nothing else.
I feel like I'm gonna get sniped for sure. Bully. Dunno, bro.
Here I am, still recovering from childbirth, with a baby strapped to my chest, 2 dogs, and I'm full on sprinting in the almost pitch darkness. I'm surprised I didn't trip.
You know what? Yeah. I don't need too many heals. I really want to get a better attack. If I can get a gold attack, that'd be great, or a pump. No.
They got extra love and treats for months after that. To this day, I never go outside alone at night. I don't know who or what the hell that pig-masked fucker was, but I'm just glad I got my baby, my dogs, and myself away from it.
Come on, how many gold vendings am I gonna find?
2013. I went over to my friend's house to
Yeah, boy.
We had a lot of fun and time flew by. It was already 1 a.m. and it was time for me to go home.
Okay, so a minigun, attack, and a combat. You know, I gotta get a combat. Just cause, yeah, I don't know.
Then her roommate suggested I take the bus since it was coming soon.
Probably would have been a bit better to get the attack, but whatever.
Since it's night out and I love watching.
It's a gold combat, you know. Oh god.
Creepy people live there. Also, I'd like to add I was a teenager but looked much younger and still do. I was always mistaken for a 12 or 14-year-old. I began my 30-minute walk listening to music. About 20 minutes into my walk, I noticed a white van driving the opposite way I was going. Being late at night and walking alone, I instantly thought of the typical cliche van stories. I chuckled and told myself to stop being so paranoid. As I continued walking, and the van got closer, I thought to myself, what if the van stops? What if there are really some crazy people inside that van? Being the paranoid person I am, I stopped my music while continuing to walk and dialed my phone, but didn't press the call button, just in case. To my horror, the van slowed down and pulled over really close to me, still facing the opposite way. My heart started beating fast.
Boy, get that out of here.
I just stood there, frozen, looking at the van to see their next move. The driver's window rolled down. Jenny? A woman in the late 40s to mid-50s asked. No, I'm not Jenny, I said. I felt a little bit of relief when I realized it's just a woman looking for someone. Is that you?
3 kills, this is gonna be a trash.
And I slowly began to walk again, still keeping my eyes locked on her. There's no way she didn't hear me, as she was very close to me. The door opened and the lady stepped out. Jenny, is that you? She said while slowly walking towards me in an almost crouched position. I stopped walking and just stared at her. At this moment, I'm totally freaked out and my fight or flight reaction kicks in. I am Jenny, I shouted, a bit annoyed. My voice giving the indication that I was scared. I quickly glanced over to the van and then in the passenger seat. I saw a scruffy-looking male just staring at me with a blank face. Okay.
Yo, bro, what are you doing?
I thought to myself. As the woman got closer, she glanced at my phone. I think she saw the number 1 on my keypad and she backed up a bit. Said she'd mistaken me for someone else. Still keeping my eyes on her. I watched her get back into her van. She rolled the window down again and asked if I knew directions to
I know he ran away, but
I'm very familiar with the city, and that street didn't exist, or it's somewhere normal people don't. I guess she was trying to convince me that she was really looking for someone. Yeah, right. I lied and told her I'm not from the area and walked away faster. The van then sped off the opposite way I was going, and as I turned the corner to get onto the main street, which was completely empty at this hour,
should have seen where he was going, man.
There was a
He was lit.
I was heading towards it.
Damn.
I have the habit to look behind me since I'm so paranoid, and as I turned my head to look back while I was still running, I saw the white van behind me. They saw me running, and I guess they realized that I was onto them if they had any ill intentions. I ran into the store, and the van didn't pull into the parking lot, but instead it passed me by and stopped at a stoplight. Then I watched it disappear in the distance for good. To this day, I don't know whether or not they had ill intentions, or if they were just looking for someone. Maybe they really were lost. But if they were, why'd they make a U-turn and come back my way? I myself think that the lady thought I wasn't worth the trouble since I wasn't as naive as they thought. And I must say, I'm thankful that I'm so paranoid. It might have saved my life, because God only knows what kind of intentions they had.
Man, I can't believe that guy actually got away from me, bro.
I live in a semi-rural area. It isn't too sparsely populated, but there are some pretty long stretches of road where there's nothing but corn for about a 10-minute walk or more. The road runs through some farmland and then down into a forest with a few houses here and there. Before I moved away to college, I would often take long walks from one end of the road to the other.
Oh, there's only 7 people.
It was good if you needed to clear your mind and get some exercise.
Maybe if I can kill all 7, I could get the dub and a 10 kill dub. Man, I could have had. I think the guy that I lit up. The guy that I lit up just straight up died from somebody else, which sucks. What a little poo stain.
I remember his voice strangely confident for a man addressing a stranger in the middle of nowhere. I pulled out my phone, but then realized he could be trying to steal it. After all, if I gave it to him, there'd be nothing stopping him from speeding off and leaving me without a phone to call the police.
I subbed now, you. Yeah, okay, bro. Is it right if I just finish this game and I'll sub back? Just need to finish this game because, you know, see if I can get the dub.
He was just trying to get me closer to his car. A sense of dread came over me. I looked left and right, and then told him no and walked quickly in the opposite direction. When I looked back, the man was glaring at me from out his window with the strangest expression I've ever seen. Almost a glare, but too cold and unemotional. Then, he rolled up his window and drove away. I walked quickly back to my house and stayed there for the rest of the day. I don't know if I was trying to rob or kidnap me, but I'm glad I didn't approach the car.
Whoa.
Blurry. I don't post or comment too often, but I thought of something that happened to my mom back when she was
I can't get a
20.
10 kill dub.
My mom was born in the late 50s in Detroit, so keep in mind she came from a safer time where it was more socially acceptable to play in the streets at night, talk to strangers, and not have to worry. Anyways, winters in Michigan are rough. There's snow and sleet everywhere, and you really couldn't go anywhere without a bundle fuck of clothing on. She was coming out of the local grocery, and this little old lady came up to her with her face almost completely covered. The woman explained that she needed a car ride to her house. My mom was reluctant at first and questioned her family and phone call to her. But she told me she used to pick up hitchhikers a lot, so she figured this frail old lady shouldn't be out in the cold by herself. My mom started putting groceries in the trunk.
Mom.
It was okay to get in. The woman got in the back seat. My mom just figured she was probably more comfortable in the back, so she didn't question it. She puts the car in drive and walks her merry way. The woman explains that her house was just a few minutes away.
No!
I began to wonder how much farther it was.
God, bro.
The woman just said softly, "Just a minute." this is where shit hits the fan. My mom comes up to a red light at a busy inner-city intersection. At this point, she gets a weird feeling, but nothing too alarming. As my mom is looking around from behind the wheel, she looks in her rearview mirror, throws her car.
Oh, this is gonna be such a poo game.
That wasn't a little old lady in the back seat. It was clear as day a man that tried luring her to his house, or God knows where. She's right in the middle of the intersection. She gets out of the car and opens the backseat door. She, in her words, told the man to get the fuck out of my car right now. He got up, looked at her, and walked away into the street. My mom never picked up anyone, ever again. This happened when I was in kindergarten, so I was about 5 or 6. My mom had recently welcomed home her second baby, and he wasn't born in the best condition. This isn't important until later. Anyways, my school district had an early release date for us. However, my mom must have not seen it inside with me. My old apartment building needed a key or to be buzzed in by a tenant. Because I was 6, I didn't have my own key, so I rang the bell. However, my mom let me in, as she didn't know I was to be let out early. With no choice but to wait outside, I sat down on the steps and waited for my mother. It seemed only a few minutes had passed before a man walked up to the steps with a key in his hand. Assuming he was one of the other residents, I quickly surrounded the situation and asked if he would let me inside. The man obliged to let me in, but told me to stick with him for safety. Naturally, this made sense to me, so I agreed. I recognized he stopped at
Oh, you're not even good, man. You're trash. You're... He's actually trash, though. He's trash. He's so trash.
I didn't recognize the man as one of them, but I figured he must have moved in recently.
10 kills, well done. You're still trash. Oh, I'd clap that kid in a 1v1, but you know. If I could have found another person, or if I found a few people there in that game, I could have had like 12ish kills or something. But that kid was sweating like, oh, look at me, I'm so good. Thinking he's some sort of pro, cranking out his 90s and all that, and I'm just like, oh, well done, you're so good. What a shadow. Because he's so trash. He had 10 kills. He probably landed at tilted and just killed a few bots. You shit. Oh my god.
I'd like to point out that I may have some grammar and spelling mistakes along the way. English is my
That kid is actually dog.
I'm really nervous about my first Reddit post.
God.
Bear in mind that I just want to get this off my chest.
What a
I
bot.
know you guys love a creepy experience. I'll also be using fake names, not locations, for obvious reasons. Story time. Now, I'd like to start by addressing the elephant in the room. I'm a 19-year-old girl, fully capable of making decisions on her own, and this particular event was my fault entirely. This will be important down the line. You'll understand soon enough. My parents have always been strict, mainly because of my father's shady connections, and them not wanting their only daughter to get into trouble. So it really doesn't come off as a surprise when I tell people my first ever actual road trip happened on my 19th birthday. Me and a few friends of mine drove down to Arizona and spent a few nights camping. We're from Oklahoma. We met another group there, and we all decided it'd be for the best if we stick together and do what our generation does these days. Because we didn't have much time, both groups decided it's for the best if each and every one of us shares something. And after rolling too many drinks, it was finally my turn.
That kid wasn't even good. I was just shooting him. I was just shooting. And then he shot me. And then he killed me. He was like, oh, I'm so good. Honestly, he's not even that good. Yeah, fair point, he can build. Oh, well done. Probably one of those sad cases, like just sitting creatives all day. Revolver.
And seeing as I'm from Oklahoma, she thought it would be in my best interest to know about it. Fast forward to a few days later, in the back of my place, thinking about taking a short trip to Dallas. I think to myself, man, you're 19. You had your first road trip. Just go for it. And go for it I did. I packed up my backpack for a few days, bought a bus ticket, and I was on my way to Dallas, to a certain pub at which, according to Mary, at least one of my fantasies. I had a place, the actual pub at which I was supposed to go. The bar looked, well, old to say the least.
Come on, brother. Let me land on the chest.
Frank, but that was the last thing on my mind. Not surprisingly at all, most of the people inside were men around their 30s who didn't want to be appointment, not counting the two waitresses with the tables. That was the first red flag, but as I said, I think about it. I said
No, you're not killing me, boy.
I'm not going to pretend it was a lie. I was looking forward to it. It was quite exciting. As
Oh, I'm dead. What a fag.
one stop was in the men's restroom, which made me chuckle because I really had
I hate coming across these little bots that think they're good.
there was a small sink.
So they're actually just dog. That guy was so dog. It's
Opened it and
it was
waited
like, oh look at me, I've got a minigun. You look, yeah, I'm a little fag.
the man
Should have pickaxed the little bumhole head.
stepped inside and stood in front of the hole, doing literally nothing. I wanted to get closer and look, but something was off. It felt very. All I could see from a slight distance were his black pants and his hands as they rested in his hoodie. It was then that I noticed his huge
Team safe and all sub now.
in his front pocket.
Hang on.
Hi there.
In panic, I
Then
let out a
was
gasp of fear and backed away, hitting my head hard on the doorknob behind me, which honestly made me through the glory.
Team. Team safe. Not super. Subbed.
Almost kidnapped by Drake and his Versancist. This happened a few years ago during my first year of university. I'm from the UK and I studied in York, which is generally considered to be a pretty safe city. I was with my friends on a night out clubbing, and as often happens on the nights out, I lost them. I was tipsy but by no means drunk, and at this point my friends weren't answering their phones and I'd had enough of it, so I decided to walk home. The house was only about 20 minutes from town and we always walked home. I didn't think anything of walking home alone. So I was walking and this guy starts walking next to me. He was Asian and maybe around 24, so not that much older than me. I was 19 at the time. York is a pretty friendly city, and tipsy students talk to each other pretty often, so I just assumed he was like me, just another alcohol-abused person on his way home. He started chatting to me about the usual stuff, asking what I studied and stuff like that. We'd only been walking a couple of minutes when he started asking if I had a boyfriend. At this point, I started feeling uncomfortable. We weren't in a secluded area, but it was around 3 in the morning and there were no other cars or people around. My mind didn't instantly label him as crazy, as I was worried, but just a boy trying his luck, which again is pretty common when you're a student. It wasn't really a big deal, but I didn't want to walk with anyone. We'd only been walking for about 5 minutes by this point, so now I tell him that it was nice meeting him, and that so I just started to stranger's house.
Killed him! Get bummed.
Waiting for him to start.
Oh my god. That was
This is when I started
worse.
to feel really unnerved. He smiled at me and said, "My car is here. Do you want a lift so I can make sure you actually get home safely?" When he said this, I actually become terrified. I didn't feel like I could even speak. I just sort
Oh,
of shook
yonder,
my head and
that
mumbled
guy.
something incoherent. Next, he comes right over to me and grabs my arm, saying he just wants to help me get home. I remember feeling numb and like I wasn't a part of my body anymore. I felt as though I was watching it happen at somebody else's expense, not to me. I always thought I'd fight back or have a strong fight response, but instead, I was frozen in fear. I don't remember where the car was or how long it took to get there. I just remembered feeling kind of floppy and letting myself get tugged along. The next thing I remembered was him opening the passenger side door and getting me in. I think he asked me where I lived, but I couldn't answer at this point. He started telling me what a pretty girl I was and how that just sat there though, frozen in fear, not really knowing what to do. He then put his hand on my thigh and started stroking my leg and touching other areas of me while continuing to drive with one hand. I felt disgusted and guilty, as if knowing that it was my fault that I was here. At the time I thought I deserved it for getting in his car in the first place. It had already happened. I remember thinking I should fight it off or try and get out of the car, but I was so scared I couldn't even speak,
Oh
let alone
god.
summon the energy to struggle. I had no idea where he was going to take me, but I knew we were heading away from the university area. After about 10 minutes, I seemed to unfreeze and it really hit me what was happening. I genuinely thought I was going to die in that car. I asked him if I could get out, but he just smiled at me. I'm only 5'1" and small built, so I didn't really stand much of a chance of overpowering him, and honestly, I was too scared to do anything. Then suddenly, my phone began ringing. I don't think I've ever answered anything so fast in my life. It was one of my housemates, and it was the one that I went out with earlier, asking if I wanted to meet her in a takeaway. I didn't even look to see how the guy was responding, but the next thing I know, he was pulling over and telling me to get out. I had no idea where I was, so I walked around looking for a street name and rang a taxi. I was sobbing and I told the taxi driver what happened. He then told me I had to tell the police and offered to take me there, but I couldn't bring myself to do it. I didn't want to stay.
Oh, you
I got
people.
I promised that I would inform the police the next morning. I never told anybody what happened that night, and I blame myself for being stupid enough to walk home with a stranger. I pretty much willingly got into his car and let myself get assaulted. Literally, anything could have happened in that car. Who knows, I could have even ended up getting murdered. Maybe that was what he was actually planning, and it all would have been my fault. We Had Too Many Windows by Unicorn Rainbow Tears. So this is like that happened a few years ago, but I didn't consider sharing it until now. I used to work at a hotel, and I use the word loosely. It was more of an inn that was in a sleepy beach town in Southern California, but it had plans to be part of someone's chain of hotels or something. The property was very small but in a seriously idealistic location, so it was close enough to the water to be expensive, but not big enough to have more than one front desk employee working there at a time. My sister and I worked there together. We both shared the same one manager. Aside from the housekeeping people, we were always staying there pretty much the latest, and more often than not, they ended up leaving way before we did. You'd be very unfortunate to be working the front desk at night. I used to work in the mornings, which is a lot more hectic considering checkouts at this particular property were pretty tough. We also didn't have a lot of things like dishwashers, so you had to do everything by hand. My sister worked at nights, and I took the mornings. The area didn't have a lot of crime. There was just something about the way the front desk area looked though. We had the front desk, and in front of it would be the breakfast area. It had tons of windows, and that meant that you could very easily see into the ocean and into the garden, as well as up the stairs that come up into the lobby. In the daytime, it was charming. By night, it was always unsettling to me, especially since if you worked for a night shift, you had to stay till like 11 PM at night without even closing the front door.
Oh, I was busy doing something. Fuck, I don't feel okay. Dead. I am dead. Yeah.
Now again, this wouldn't be a big deal, but we had no security, no cameras, not even the housekeeping there at that time. It was just you by yourself with this dark void to look out at while you counted down the hours till you got to go home. One night, I had a true night shift covering for my sister. I didn't even have my uniform or anything. It was kind of unexpected. For whatever reason, I decided to close the lobby door, and I'm glad that I did. Now, the door wasn't locked, and that meant that any late night customers could literally just come in, but nobody did that night. And it finally hit 11. I was super relieved to get off, so I then began my end of night duties. They were just normal stuff like setting up for breakfast, etc. When I finished everything, I grabbed my keys and turned to the right, and just turned off all the lights before leaving when my phone rang. I got tense for a second, only because of how loud it was and I was surprised.
Anyway, we're going back to Pandora. Yeah, boy.
In case somebody got locked out of their room and had to come down and needed help. Now, there's no electric plastic keys used here, so it's just old-fashioned metal keys. I quickly managed to calm myself
This is
down,
pretty dope that they've added
but
something
I was more
from.
annoyed than anything and stepped around the desk to
Yeah. Hang on. Having what? Oh yeah. Oh, cheers. I'm back. Okay. Huh. Feels bad for that gang. Yeah, already know he's pretty salty.
Nobody said a word on the other end. I said hello, asking if anyone was there. I thought it was a dead call or a digital the ocean on the other side. No, it was a particularly windy night, so the waves were louder than usual. I just hung up. I then just went to leave again, and the phone rang for a second time. I picked up and gave the same line, and finally got a response. Is there any rooms available? He didn't sound drunk. He sounded collected. The place was next to a bar, so if it was just somebody drunk, I would have known, but he sounded calm. Like, unnervingly calm. Oh, sir, I'm sorry. I replied. It's not common for someone to find our hotel. Continued to say, however, really scares me, and I don't get scared easily. Oh, so none are available? No, there isn't. What about the vinyl standing in front of me? I froze immediately. See, how the lobby is set up, it's basically a door also behind the counter, and that door leads to another room that is directly behind the lobby. We're not allowed to close that one either, but I left it open in case anybody needed help. All of the rooms are like outside. It's kind of like none of it's within a contained space or anything, if that makes sense. All of the doors lead to other rooms and staircases leads outside. So anybody can just walk up and walk around the hotel without being a guest or an employee. So quite literally, anyone can just come up off the streets and be anywhere in the hotel. It's one of the reasons I left. I took the closed door behind me, locking it, and the front door was already closed as well. Like, very put up. If there's anything you can do, you have to call back in the morning. I'm just more scared now. I think my voice may have even cracked, but I'm not sure. I was going to hang up before he said something else. I like your tiger. In the creepiest, most slithering voice that I've ever heard. As I said before, I wasn't wearing my uniform that day. I had a grey shirt that had this rainbow tiger face on it. I stared out into the windows before it really hit me. The lights inside the lobby lit up, so you could see inside of it. While being from inside, you can see nothing but blackness. He was outside the lobby, probably most likely just staring at the lights. I didn't get to say anything before he asked, "Is the front door locked?" I threw the phone out of my hand and ran around the desk, locking the deadbolt on the front door. I've never been so scared in my life, and I'm pretty sure I was having a panic attack. I was crying.
I just peed myself.
Freaking out. I've never been that scared, honestly. Then, banging came from the door, really aggressively and angrily. I was too afraid to grab the phone that I'd thrown. It had been flung across towards the windows. I didn't know if he was going to break one of them or not, so I grabbed my cell phone and locked myself into the bathroom that was right next to my desk. I called my auntie, who lives less than a mile. I know I should have called the police, but I was out of my mind, and she was a black belt, so I knew she could defend herself. I called her and barely was able to tell her what was going on, between my crying and freaking out. It was scary. I've dealt before, and it felt exactly the same way as it did before, nightmarish. It wasn't until she called me again to tell me that she was outside of the lobby that I decided to unlock the room I was in and exit the bathroom. I knew I made a mistake by not calling the police because he wasn't there anymore by the time she got to the door, so I had no idea what he looked like, and our policy of never keeping the doors closed didn't change, even after I reported it to the owners. I've had some issues with safety after that, but none ever as scary as this one. If it was someone else, that would have been fine, but I was fully aware of what he was going to do and knew exactly what he was planning. After that experience, I never worked the night shifts again. The pipe wielding cab driver from hell after. One night, a friend and I took a trip to the US. Irish guys and early 20s with little money taking Greyhounds and Amtrak from city to city. Since I was the more organised of the two, I looked after the tickets and reservations, and when it comes to hitting Chicago, I struck gold by finding a room at the Hilton. It's a major upgrade on the lovable dumps that we've been staying in. But as soon as we got off the 20-hour train journey from the US, I realised that I made a mistake. The hotel was in Madison, Illinois, not the Chicago neighbourhood where we'd been planning to stay. It was a blimp on the map, and at the time consisted of little more than a road sign, a petrol station, a White Castle, and our hotel. And that was
Hang on.
exclusively used by business.
150, yeah, I'll take minis.
Discounted taxi service that was for a company that was affiliated with the hotel and then sent somebody out for us. This is when things took a turn. The guy shows up, pops the trunk, and just as we're putting our bags in, there was a roar from behind. "Hey, you can't take that cab." He has to have some place. That's against the law. A burly cabbie was enraged by the fact that our driver had picked us up right in front of a queue of cabs waiting for customers. I got about 2 words into my explanation when our driver lunged for this guy screaming, "I'm gonna kill you. I have my pipe right here and I swear to God I'm gonna beat you to death." Bad. This is where we should have brought things to a halt, but the truth is we didn't have enough money for a normal cab ride to get us out of town, so being 2 awkward Irish guys, we just got in the car, gazed in the opposite direction and hoped that the matter wouldn't get any worse and would resolve itself. So, after jumping back in the car, still cursing, the driver gunned it down the wrong side of the street at rush hour. Evidently, this made up for the lost time. While venting road rage in the direction of anyone honking horns at him, it smelled like he had been drinking, but bailing out genuinely seemed like a terrible idea. At some point later on, he gone to tell us that he should have been a race car driver and called us wussies for wearing our seatbelts. He also told us a story of how that he beat the life out of the customer because he didn't think that he tipped him enough. I had just tried to play it off as a slightly unsettling way to try and ensure that we'd given him a handsome bonus, but the sight of my friend nervously counting a handful of $1 bills gave me a weird feeling. While I was responsible for the reservations, he was responsible for things like cab fares. Between us, we had just enough cash to cover the fare before the trip. This is where the implications escalated to certain danger. The driver kept offering to show us his pipe. This is the same one that he'd used to take care of the bad tipper. Despite the he actually took the pipe out from under the seat, turning around to wave it at us with this maniacal laugh while doing so. He was also driving at the same time as this. Now, I couldn't tell what was more scarier, the feeling that we to crash into it, or the looming confrontation that we would inevitably sort of have to have with him. We were going so fast that the force of the wind coming through the window took my breath away, intensifying the feeling of shock. This was definitely the most distressing journey that I'd ever been on. Miraculously though, the speeding had shaved valuable dollars off the total, leaving just enough for the fare and a small tip. We had been saved by the very excess that had terrified us. I had jumped out the moment that we stopped, searching for help just in case things kicked off. But for some reason, he seemed satisfied, giving us his card until any time. He would be glad to drink whiskey and get into some fights with us, he said too. No thanks. Once we got to the safety of our hotel, we just sat there, shaking, shell-shocked, trying to absorb what the hell had just happened. The Naked Man by Slide 87. This happened a lot of years ago, probably 20 years ago actually, when my single father moved myself and two little sisters to a not terrible but not great suburb of Denver, Colorado. The divorce had shattered him and our home. My mother had left him for another man, and the burden of raising all three fell on him. Skip forward a couple of months. I'm 10 and my sister was 86. We had grown fairly accustomed to the neighborhood and closely surrounding areas. My dad worked from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. in Denver, where all the best pay is, and the responsibility of my two little sisters became mine. We hadn't quite meddled with other kids in the area yet, but being the three of us, we didn't mind. We were capable of entertaining ourselves. We used to ride our bicycles everywhere, to the surrounding neighborhoods, the hiking trails,
Oh, piss
even
off, you
along
little
the train tracks, which could be found in numerous amounts throughout the town.
shit, bro, as well.
The closest to our home had a long ditch, like valley along both sides of it. If I think of
Keep
it
dying
now
to
in
absolute
retrospect,
body cunt.
it had been a safety type flood barrier to prevent the river from flooding out the neighborhood across the street. On one side of the tracks, it was literally a sheer drop off with heavy bushes and undergrowth preventing the
I need
ground
the
from
toilet.
being
JJ,
easily
I'm gonna
accessible. And
beat
the other side
the
had
toilet
half
bowl.
covered and a bicycle is more reasonable than a vehicle in my opinion, or an ATV. Something that we call Dead Man's Ditch, but it only becomes relevant later in my story. So as I said, we used to ride our bikes around town a lot, especially in the summer months, during the day while my dad was at work, and we could travel further than he allowed anyway. We had this one game that we could play that we really enjoyed, called Hunch Buggy, combined with license plate game. If any of us saw a license plate with double or triple characters consecutively, we would hit each other. It was kind of barbaric, but we were siblings, so it wasn't really that outlandish. On this particular day, we had been riding around for a few hours, and we were past the hottest part of the day. We were genuinely down, and we were nearing out for a sunset. We'd made our way pretty close to the house, so we're just getting ready to go back home. I had been hanging back a bit, so my little sisters were in front of me, the youngest in front.
I think we're gonna go Vettelfeld.
With myself about 6 feet behind. Now, a few
'Cause
minutes
why
prior
not?
to this, a silver sedan had driven past us going the opposite way that we were. The car's plates had double numbers, so I called it first. As we were heading up the street, I heard a vehicle accelerate impatiently behind me. This set off red flags because we were riding. We actually become affected by the oncoming lanes. This vehicle was heading the same way we were, but in a completely different
Yeah, I'm
lane.
gonna hop off after
I
this
turned
game,
to
or I'm
look
gonna
and
end up breaking my
automatically glanced
PlayStation
at
because
the
it's
first
pissing me off
license
going
plate, and it was that same sedan.
dying.
Yep, that guy was back. Now I could see him. He was in his late 40s and he was wearing a red and blue faded frame of flannel with no undershirts underneath. He didn't say a word. He just looked at me for a second and then sped up, veering into our lane. I watched in horror as his open driver's side window lined up with my baby sister, and he reached out and grabbed her hand and handled her bicycle. He slowed down a bit, trying to pull my sister off her bike and into his open window. But something happened in his car because all of a sudden he released my sister and put both hands back onto the steering wheel. So my sister then took a chance and started racing towards Dead Man's Ditch. My sister and I followed in suit. After a moment of what I know is tunnel vision, I heard the acceleration of the sedan again behind me, but this time we were all hysterical and I was trying desperately to see through the tears. This guy wasn't giving up. Whatever his deal was, he didn't want to let us go. I then, thinking on my feet, directed both my sisters down Dead Man's Ditch. I was thinking that he wouldn't follow us down there and destroy his vehicle attempting to follow us. My youngest sister cowered in fear at the top, whimpering, afraid of falling. The middle sister didn't need to be told twice. She flew down the hill like it was nothing, and I caught up with them. The car was right on my back tire. I said, "Just go, this guy's gonna kill us." I remembered hearing her taking a big breath and let her tire go down the hill. I held my breath until I was right behind her. All three of us made it down that hill. The guy pulled his car right up to the opening of the path and got out of his car. He was completely naked except for that thing he was wearing where he didn't have a shirt on. I stood between my sisters in this creep, and after a few minutes, I guess he decided that it wasn't worth the destruction of his car, so got back and drove away. My sisters were both in hysterics, although my 10-year-old mind had switched to the business mode, and I cleared the tears away, and my only concern now was getting home safely. We waited for about half an hour, but the car never come back. We then braved emerging from the trail and hightailed it home. We got back home and told my dad everything. He was outraged, understandably so, and took us in his car to drive around and try and find him. We didn't find him though. My dad called the police the moment we got back and filed a report. Unfortunately, with no description other than what he looked like and part of his plate, they were never able to track him down. They filled in Dead Man's Ditch a couple of months later, but not before it had saved our lives. The Men in Masks by Elite Wonder 116. This happened when I was in my teens, around 16 or 17. Here's some background. I live in the UK. At this age, I lived in a pretty average area, but you only had to walk 20 minutes out and you were in some pretty dodgy areas that were well known for their high level of crime. Myself and my friend were both of a similar age and we're both females. We were walking to a park that was about 40 minutes away to meet the rest of our friends who are all also the same age and gender. To get to this park, we had to briefly dip into one of these bad areas, almost at the edge of the worst part of the entire estate. By this time, it was about 6 PM. Now, it wasn't too late, but it was just in the build-up to winter, so it wasn't truly dark, but the street lamps were on, and it was very much coming into the evening. We were walking along a pathway with my friend on the outside by the bushes, and me on the inside to the road, just following a normal two-way street. We were giggling away and almost oblivious to everything that was going on around us when, out of nowhere, this black car pulls up. It speeds towards us from behind. The sound alerted us as the tyres screeched towards us. As the car aligned with us while we're still walking, this guy is literally hanging out of the passenger side window reaching for me. He's about 1 foot away from actually touching, but as I look up to see his face, he's wearing this terrifying mask. It's one of them huge animated smiley ones, like something out of The Purge. Once I'd finished screaming and managed to process what was happening, I remember my friend grabbing my arm and bolting into the field that was to the left. This probably wasn't the best idea, but my fight or flight had already kicked in. I suddenly felt a lot darker where I was standing. There was no streetlights in the open field. We stayed close to the bush where the path was on the other side, but we were crouching behind so they wouldn't see us. They
Jesus
never actually
Christ.
stopped, they just slowed down passing us, reaching, then getting out to speed off. But we could hear them knocking and accelerating in the distance. We tried to calm each other down and eventually convinced ourselves
What?
it's a stupid prank
Okay.
by a group of lads just out there to scare people.
Shit, man.
After around 10 minutes,
Brutes are the gayest thing in the world. Remove them. This game is so dog.
So we decided to take it.
No wonder no
but
one
we were
plays
still
it.
not really in a safe lit area. Then
Honestly, I
after a
could
bit
just
more walking,
kill
we
yourself,
eventually
man.
made it to our friends.
Literally, you may as well.